All right, let's see if I land this plane right with these levels as we transition in here. Hello, and welcome back to TechnoPoverty. I'm Henry, and as you can see from messing around with the intra-dimensional engine and finding some new friends, we got Jacob back.
I'm back.
Guys, Jacob's back.
I did it.
He was out there, but we've got him back in here.
Henry found me.
Yeah.
And it's okay now.
Yeah, we've been looking for friends in JSRF. We got Lux hovering around. I think he went like under the floor for a moment.
What's he working on?
There's this guy. So Lux is here now every Tuesday. In addition to our Monday and Thursday streams where we do 7:30 CST, we do this thing. We have Shin Megami Tuesdays going on now. Tuesdays at 3 p.m. CST. Lux and I are playing Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. It's a game where the world ends, and now you are wandering the wasteland, sort of reconstructing or deciding what the new world is going to look like. I've never played it before. Lux has guided me through with some Derrida, but we're going to have ourselves here. This is TechnoPoverty tonight, right now. I'm Henry.
I'm Jacob.
And we're playing Jet Set Radio Future. We've been talking about outlaws and gangs and pimps and all kinds of cool shit. We started off with You Can't Win by Jack Black. This was an autobiography by a gentleman cat burglar in the early 1900s. He went around the coast, up and down the west coast, I believe it was, up into Canada, down to California, just robbing people, dodging cops, existing on the fringes of society at the time. Pretty cool. We followed that up with Pimp by Iceberg Slim, another fellow who in the 1940s was a black pimp in America.
Gotta love that.
I believe he was up in Chicago. He kind of travels around a bit in the state of Illinois, if I remember correctly. But another similar thing, you see this sort of hidden history, this alternative culture that was kind of underreported on or not looked at by the TV or the politeness of society and broadcast television, if we're going to get into it. You know, the American dream can't take a look at the pores. It can't take a look at why there's a criminal class, and you know, that's also why we included Gangs of New York. Just looking at all these structures in which people have to build something alternative to what mainstream society dictates they do, because maybe mainstream society is just trying to criminalize them, brutalize them, you know, commit all kinds of hate crimes or exterminations against them. Plus, in times of dire macro structure stress, as now, we need to start considering alternatives on how to organize our society if we want to continue forward. So, you know, it's worth looking into the history of these sort of things. We're sort of bringing it all together with The Rebel tonight by Albert Camus. But before we just ramble here on the couch, Jacob, how have you been? We're gonna just get into the game, but while we're doing that, let me know what's up. How's the outside world been? That's something we don't do here. We're a stream. We're talking to you through a camera.
Yeah,
we're in the intra dimension.
We're strictly digital to you in every sense of the word. I've been doing good. Back from a long trip, a necessary trip, and got to touch grass and a lot of it. It was a lot of wet.
I have a question.
Yeah.
We're going to turn the volume back up on the game as we get back into it.
So we got someone from the Netherlands. Very cool, Araj Mickey.
Oh yeah, and we got Kirsten here, we got Arash Mickey, we got 3256. We have all the celebrities here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me back. I'm real excited.
So Jacob, were you involved with the selection of the new Pope, is my question, right off the fucking bat. Because you know what, there was no Pope, and then you disappeared for a few weeks, and then there's a Pope.
You know, I can...
and then you're back, and it's the American guy? Like, what...
You know, I mean, I am partial to Chicago, not gonna lie. I think it's a great town and a real fun place to be. I cannot confirm nor deny any association with the new Pope on whether I had any assistance.
I mean, you're Italian American, so I assume you would have let Pizza Guy win if you had any actual sway.
Oh man, absolutely. Do you want to, okay, so speaking of pizza, I found out New England has its own kind of pizza. Like, its style is Greek American, but it's only in New England.
Is that the square one or the one with just like cold cheese on it or something? What am I thinking of? That's like horrific. Is that Philly?
I think it's a Philly-ish one.
I remember seeing some scary northeastern pizza before. Yeah.
There's definitely some terrible ones, but it's like a mix between like fast food pizza and a pan pizza. I don't know. I didn't know that it was different than every other pizza people have had, but now it makes a lot of sense having gone back because it did feel different. And New Haven, Connecticut. People say the best pizza is from New Haven, and I am so intrigued by that because this is new to me. Like, you're not the first person to say that.
Why New Haven? Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about the Northeast. Like, they say with New York, it's something in the water, which, you know, maybe. I don't know. It's good pizza in New York, I will say that, but New Haven's had some good stuff. And there's many pizzas out there. The open secret, truly. Yeah. So a lot of pizza adventures, and also, although, have you ever had Chicago pizza? Now that we're talking about pizza,
yeah, I've had like an actual deep dish from Chicago. I've been up to Chicago. I've only been up to Chicago once. It was like one weekend, but I got a deep dish pizza, and I went to the Green Mill.
Oh, nice.
Green Mill's the birthplace of slam poetry.
Oh, that I did not know. That's really cool.
Yeah.
When did slam poetry?
Early 90s. I'm a bad. Oh yeah. Check out my custom tags. While you've been gone, I've been playing Jet Set Radio Future, and I've been really expressing my feelings through it, as you can see.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. It seems like you've made great use of all of the game has to offer.
Yeah, we are taking back the city, and you know what? I'm surprised at how sophisticated the narrative in this game is. I played this in like 2002 when it came out. I was a middle schooler. I was like, cool, yeah, FTP, skate around, freedom of expression, but while it is all that, it is also very sophisticated in how it takes its anti-authoritarianism and dramatizes it. Should we clear out the tags? Let's finish tagging up the streets here, why don't we?
Let's absolutely tag it.
I'm kind of at the end of the game right now. I can tell you what's been going on, kind of recap stuff for you since you're back in the spaceship now.
Yeah, please do, because I took an Amtrak train recently and I got to see some wonderful graffiti. Speaking of wonderful anti-establishment artwork, it was awesome.
I wish.
Beautiful tag.
I want to take the train more. I took an Amtrak when I was like a kid, and I remember really loving it.
Yeah, it was a great time. Also,
above me. Oh, no, it's right here.
I didn't realize, like, there's electric trains up until Hartford, Connecticut. Then after Hartford, Connecticut, it's diesel trains. But I took a Vermonter train. Learned a lot about trains this week.
A Vermonter train.
Yeah, just old style, go strictly through Vermont. It was a great time. Here's another. I want to read back about those criminality gangs in the 70s and 90s. It's steadily decreased since then. The Netherlands. I honestly don't know that much about the Netherlands as I'm saying that. And what is like a Netherlands gang? What does that look like?
Yeah, what do they do?
Like, because ever since we looked into Kneecap, I've been really obsessed with like Irish stuff lately. So I've been looking into those boys. That's been really fun. Like, do they have like, what's their signature stopping people from doing things? Because, you know, Ireland's got the Kneecap. What else we got? Dang, if you do 5 6, I could drive back and forth twice between cities in the same amount of time the train would get me over there on a one-way trip. Yeah, the train is definitely not the fastest way to places, but it is the prettiest way sometimes. But only sometimes. Like New York was cool.
Not over here.
So what have you been up to with these?
So I am a member of the GGs. That's what I've been up to here. And the GGs are a gang of skater punks in Neo-Tokyo, which is the place I'm skating around right now. There's a vibrant culture of skater gangs on the streets of Neo-Tokyo, and they're all kind of in rebellion against the corporate magnate who seems to be buying up everything around here. His name is Rokaku Goji. He even has like his own like form of private law. He's getting kind of gerrymandered through the fucking city, the Rokaku law. He owns the cops, the Rokaku police, so you know whenever they show up you gotta spray them down. But the GGs they just want to do skating code. They just want to parkour. They just want to express themselves and be free on the streets. They hate that Rokaku Goji's, what does he want? He owns the police. He owns all the real estate. Like, he's a slumlord. Cool. I'll tell you more about what's going on there in a moment. So anyways, while Goji's doing that, the kids are trying to just, hang on the streets. At the start of this game, there was a rival game called Poison Jam. This is what I mean when it's like the specifics that are really fascinating this time around. So you start fighting Poison Jam, and the reason you're fighting Poison Jam is because they're tagging up the walls like you are, but it's toxic. It kills people. So it's cool that they're a gang and all, but it's not cool that they're harming others. It's kind of like seems to be the guiding principle of the GGs, who are the nicest gang in fiction. It's the nicest. The opening of the game is the tutorial on how to do everything, and it's basically an initiation into the GGs. It is the nicest gang jump in you will see in any work of fiction. Yeah. Just like, hey, can you grind? And do you know how to spray paint? Cool, you're in the gang. Like,
nice. Gang affiliation acquired.
But anyways, once you stop Poison Jam, they kind of fuck off, and they're like, okay, we'll stop hurting people. They disappear from the plot. The next bad guy you fight is a gang of mummies called the Immortals. And this is where things got interesting to me, because the Immortals, unlike Poison Jam, they aren't damaging the environment. They aren't, like, in opposition to authority, necessarily. They hang out in the Mummy Park, and the Mummy Park is like all the Pharaoh-themed shit. They're mummies themselves, they cover their faces, so there's no individuality there. But, like, so they're not, like, a cool gang. They're a gang, but they're, like, a feature of, like, the power structure. Like, the pyramid fiends and, like, the pharaoh, like, rich people that own that area. Like, they're decoration.
You gotta turn your game audio down just a smidge. Interesting, though. Thanks for the heads up, Gil.
Yeah. Let's see if that works for y'all.
How does that feel? We'll just keep chatting.
Okay, well, back to Shibuya. I'm just kind of licking corners of the map to see if there's any extra characters to recruit before we go into the end game. We're pretty far along. But yeah, so you're fighting those mummies, and the mummies also commit like human sacrifice. So unlike Poison Jam, who's just tagging up the area and leaving you alone and playing by the rules, like the mummies, like they work for power, not in opposition to it, and they have no real voice of their own, and they play outside the rules like established and respected by the other gangs. So it's like, okay, let's take down the Immortals. So you beat those guys, and they kidnap one of your members. And then you find that kidnapped member. He's actually not, he's a robot. The next gang you're fighting is called the Noise Tanks, is the way to get past this specific bit. And they're androids. They're just straight up robots. They were doing the doppelganger thing with one of your members to like catch your attention. They make you fight in like a Death Race 2000 arena thing, and what's one of my favorite set pieces of the game, because you're playing like this underground deathball game. Where you're like forced to cooperate with a partner that you didn't get to choose, and you have to beat the other gangs at this deathball game.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And at like the hypest moment in the tournament, the cops crash it, and they're driving a mech, so you got to fight like a cop mech at the height of this illegal racing game. It's real fun stuff. Again, the narratology, it's great.
The cops inside with their cyber trucks decided to stop them.
Exactly. What? But after that, you find out that those robots were just built by Rokaku Goji, the dude who owns everything and wants everything. And so that's kind of where I am now. Rokaku Goji, once you discover the robots were like a fake gang made by him to infiltrate gang culture, he goes mask off. You stop fighting the cops and you start fighting the Golden Rhinos, who are like this private military-ass, like personal mercenary Pinkerton gang. That work for the man, and yeah, exactly. They're much more brutal. They have machine guns they will shoot you down with, and they dress up as furries and hide in plain daylight.
Oh, interesting choice. Okay. All right.
Like you'll be out in a crowd that's just shopping, and you'll see like a big mascot that you think's just like a Mickey Mouse or something to sell shit, and then they whip out a machine gun and they're shooting you.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, cops would never do that.
Just any kid in roller skates, no matter if they're actually affiliated with the gang or not, I guess, is what would happen there. But yeah, so that evolution where you're fighting a gang that's in opposition to you, and then a gang that's just, it does, like, so the first gang, Poison Jam, agreed rules, just like one of you hurts people. And then the second gang, it's like, oh, you're not like actually expressive anything but like the cruelty of power.
Yeah.
And then the third gang, it's like, oh, you're just fake. You're just like industry plant stuff. Like you're a mimicry of street culture. Interesting enough, the way you find out the robots are made by Rikaku and fake and all that. We're gonna go to the dinosaur park just to let you know. That's where we're headed. You're gonna see the dinosaurs and the roller coasters.
Man, it's been so long since I've seen this game too.
Yeah, it came with every Xbox for a period.
Yeah, I was definitely one of those people that got it with my Xbox, and I loved it. It's like the first game I played.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, at the end of finding your kidnapped friend, you go to the bottom of the slums, and the cops planted a bunch of bombs that you have to do like a time mission to defuse, because instead of, you know, going in and arresting specific individuals, they're just going to blow up all the poor people. It's very reminiscent of the 1985 Move bombing in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It sounds like almost exactly like it. Terrifying. Well, thank God no one does that anymore.
So we got to teach a few people about the Move bombing while you were out. It was great.
Oh man, that's one to learn about.
Oh, what's going on in the chat? I feel like we've been a bit neglectful of them.
Chat, how have y'all been? I haven't seen your beautiful names in a minute, other than being on the Discord intermittently while I was in the mountains. Someone fell upstairs.
Oh no.
I think they'll be fine. I'm just joking, chat. I'm sure they're fine.
You ever want to just grind on a...
We'll grind on a lot of things.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chat, anyone else in here played this game before? Or currently because we started playing it? Because this soundtrack is great. That's like the biggest thing I remember from this game. Just how good the music was.
Yeah, definitely holds up.
Yeah.
So I came back here to find the secret tape because there it is right there.
Nice. Cassette tape. Damn, 3256 had the soundtrack but not the game. Interesting.
All right, so
Great
I got
choice.
the secret tapes, and what I've been doing is each area, in addition to the story stuff we're talking through, also, so just to clarify, the part of the story right now is the golden rhinos are terrifying people. There's several golden rhinos bosses around town you have to clear out. I think we're gonna hop on that next because I was just kind of taking a tour to see if I was missing any optional characters. I don't think any besides what I'm about to explain right now, but
Okay, hell yeah.
But we got all the secret tapes, and so besides the story, you can unlock basically like this Tony Hawk's Pro Skater challenge list for each area.
Oh, nice.
And when you clear them all, you unlock graffiti souls, which are those glowing things that pop up when you do the special combos and shit. One popped up earlier.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And when you collect those, you get different new types of custom graffiti that you can, you know, swap out. Although I have all custom graffiti around. See, there's one right there.
So good.
So in addition to like this narrative game about the soul of the street and what community and culture is, because that's the thing, like this game is, you know, the graphics, the music, the controls, the story, it's the way the things all come together in the same way that, you know, hip hop is several elements coming together. Like
Yeah.
This game is about how like disparate elements cultivate into a culture, and that culture being, you know, Shibuya-ki or American hip hop or.
I love seeing the abolish ice.
Yeah. See, that's a great thing I've been kind of harping on too, is like it is a very curated story. Like we're playing a group of kids in a gang, so there's no like custom character creator where you can like monster factory your own character. Like you have to go with like a character that fits within the macro ethos of like this gang culture.
Yeah.
But then like, so you find someone you kind of jam with, or a set of characters you jam with, but then the graffiti is still completely you.
That's really.
So you kind of find your place within the culture in the same way that's like encouraged for you to think about while playing the game. Like, the GGs do not, like the Immortals, serve the architecture and the power despots around them. Like, they stand in defiance to it, but they don't do it in a violent way, like Poison Jam. Like, there's no central character, but the character of the gang of the GGs makes itself apparent through, like, who you're fighting. And also, you'll recruit anyone through, like, your little street games. Not through, like, violence and jumping in, but through, like, agreed upon, like, hey, we all like this culture.
Yeah.
It's a very positive look at, like, you know, it's all the nicest, coolest parts of gang culture, which
Yeah, like the reason why.
isn't necessarily like criminal culture when people think of the word gang. Like, it's what people do when they need to form community and find, like, a place to, like, be.
Yeah, feel safe and wanted.
This is why we were talking about, like, Hell's Angels as well as part of the whole thing, because, you know, we talk about Pimp and we're looking at Gangs of New York and You Can't Win, and it's like, oh, this romantic, like, oh yeah, these guys had to, like, build a counterculture because mainstream culture won't accept them. Like, I don't want to over-romanticize the wrong parts of, like, Outlaws.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you gotta look into, like, the Hells Angels and, like, what it really means to rebel as well. Like, what's constructive opposition to social norms versus destructive opposition to social norms, you know?
Yeah.
The Hells Angels have no, like, constructive, like, Sanders 2028 agenda.
They're
It's
not
just
Bernie
like,
Bros.
I want to ride my bike and beat my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you watched that 1967 TV interview where Thompson is jumped by a Hell's Angel in a surprise interview, and the way people just chuckle at this dude casually talking about abusing his spouse, it's just dark.
They just have like no concept of it being like real at that point, almost like.
Right.
It's so outlandish. It's very funny because I just recently had a friend post about how she was hanging out with a bunch of bikers, and then biker property words came out of his mouth, and I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of their whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like living a certain style of life.
Yeah, the romanticization of them is like, you know, knights errant, like little.
What was that show? Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah,
Everyone thinks it's
exactly.
Sons of Anarchy. It's Hamlet on motorcycles, but it's like, no, they're just doing drugs, selling weapons, trying to keep ahead of stuff, and doing some fucked up stuff along the way. It's horrible.
Alright, I think I want to go to Highway Zero, but first I want to save. Yeah, in Hell's Angels, Hunter S. Thompson talks a bit about, like, the Hollywood biker boy, you know, Brando fetishization of it. And also, I don't think Thompson really talks about this, but I should have brought the book Days of Rage into this, which talks about, like, the Weather Underground, the Sudanese Liberation Army, all the actual domestic terrorist groups from the 70s that did stuff that weren't the Black Panthers, but, like, reactionaries and just racists and stuff will often, like, just scapegoat the Black Panthers for being terrorists, even though it's like, no, they started WIC, dude. Like,
I'm pretty sure they started ambulances.
yeah.
Genuinely, like, we have to thank them for.
There were other groups
goods.
like the Sudanese Liberation Army or the Weather Underground that were, like, bombing courthouses and stuff.
Oh, L-Man X1. Good evening.
Oh, welcome, L-Man. As you can see, Jacob has returned.
It's true, I'm here. In the digital space. Corporeal form in this room, but.
But I'm kind of glad I circled around through the whole list of books, because that brings us to tonight's book, which is The Rebel by Albert Camus. and I gotta be honest, it's not a book. I know it's right there, and it looks like a book, and it's shaped like a book. It is a book. It's not a fictional narrative or a biographical narrative like the other books are. So before like YouTube, before video essays, they had just like essays.
Dissertations.
Oh, hey, we got a follow. Nice. Thank you so much to the 260 that followed.
Nice. Yeah, thank you. And also, thank you, LMNX. I had a great time. I had a great time on my travels. It was very nice.
Here we go.
My God, the air is fresh outside of Texas, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot, like, as I was leaving.
Does it just feel like less anxious?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not sure it's just because there's no reception in the mountains, but it's just like not on my phone whatsoever. It's beautiful. And obviously I come back to the horrors when I went down to Boston, but it was mostly nothing. But like just the air being able to be breathed so much cleaner. Wonderful. I will place my bets.
Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. I'm going to be back with it. Cool.
Hell yeah.
I've been feeling a lot of like, this is Sonic the Hedgehog, but good.
You know,
in terms of like wrangling it all into something more coherent than just like fast guy going fast.
Yeah, yeah, fast guy goes fast, gets rings.
Live and learn.
Yeah, like I love Sonic, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Sonic.
I love Sonic because he's lame. Or I love Sonic because I don't like Sonic, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's some kind of insistence to doing his own thing. Oh boy.
So that a blue hedgehog that just like catches rings, just as big as it is.
Into a sea of flames. Take down that pyromaniac.
Fucking smack those golden rhinos.
Yeah, this game. Ooh, nope, I'm just gonna
Get the big wigs from Golden Rhino. Fuck, they got big wigs in ASMR too?
That freaked me out too.
Oh, man.
I don't like the realities converging in such a way.
That's like, that's more than I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like, how big is their reach? They can't be everywhere.
I mean, we got Lux in, so it's cool, I think.
That's true. Yeah, they haven't said anything yet, so.
Alright. I'm playing as Jazz because she has a lot of capacity for spray, but she has very few. Her health's not that great. I'm a little worried.
Ah, gotcha.
Where did this person go? Oh, there they went.
Nice. Spray that loser.
Yeah. Playing games. But I was talking about essays before YouTube when they were just essays and not video essays. Yeah. But The Rebel, it's a book-length essay by Albert Camus. Albert Camus was a French writer. He's often cited as being big in the formation of existentialism as a philosophy. You're like The Stranger, The Myth of Sisyphus, The Fall, The Plague.
Okay, I've definitely heard of a couple of reviews for sure.
Yeah, but The Rebel is him talking about the act of rebellion and what it means, what it signifies. This idea of when you rebel, when you tell someone, no more in a sort of master-slave relationship. You're setting a boundary, not just for yourself, but it hinges on a social recognition of this boundary is reasonable.
Others see this as
others see this as reasonable. Yes, you've worked 40 hours a week. Here is the roof over your head. You work a full-time job. Here's the deal. The way that in rebellion you're saying here but no further. That no further is an appeal to a sort of public reason.
Yeah.
It hinges on the public caring in a way. But therefore when you rebel you're taking a gamble, but you're also defining that there is a we, that there are these boundaries we are agreeing upon.
Yeah, the community. All right. Yeah.
And so Camus talks about rebellion in that sense, in that constructive sense, but he also brings up things like resentment and revolution as like also directions that will go. Because, you know, in rebellion, sure. Oh.
Golden Rhino. My signal is fading quick.
Oh no. Oh, that's right. Last time DJ Professor K said they knew where he was and he was a little scared. Oh no.
Oh, damn.
Don't make me come on, help me!
We gotta help him. Let's save.
Help me!
Things coming up fast. But so you know, there's still just because you're going against, just because you're being contrarian doesn't necessarily mean you're being a like constructive rebel. You can, again, as we were talking about the Hells Angels, just be destructive.
Yeah.
It's pure resentment. It's interesting that both Camus and Thompson use the word resentment to describe, you know, this sort of this negative conception of rebellion, this pure destructive sense of it. And then I find it interesting because Camus also defines revolution as different than rebellion, because rebellion is doing an alternative or trying to find like a new way of doing things, or it's like revolution is just replacing the current way of doing things with people who are new, or you know, you're just substituting two things out, not like actually swapping something like completely. That's kind of the thing.
Okay.
But yeah, he talks about this a lot in his book. You know, these different forms of rebellion, and like through this, like, what is justice? What is truth? These kind of big-heady questions. But I mean, he gets into the specifics of it because when you get down to like resentment and crime and rebellion and rules, you start having to define, you know, crime and law and like what the boundaries are. And when you start defining crime, you start coming up into conflict with questions of, you know, should we have a death penalty? Like, what does it mean if we are just systematizing murder? It's interesting because Camus talks about Sod, Marquis de Sade, 120 Days of Sodom.
Oh yeah. Great day night movie.
And he identifies that, like, yeah, he's criminal and he's like resentful, but he's not rebellious. There's like a romanticization, a romance to his conception of crime. Like, oh, to be criminal is to like transgress, and like even if Side's being like a parody or satiric in that, like crime's not a transgression if it's just a logical definition by the state for like how do we rationalize murder, you know? I mean, with the prison industrial complex and the way the state kind of criminalizes homelessness and other types of, I mean, even in historically alternative lifestyles like, you know, queer and trans people's lives, like we're seeing attempts at now. You know, at some point, these boundaries just become, you know, are these boundaries just rationalizations for murder? And like, when that's recognized, what do you do about it? Like, then it's time to rebel in a constructive manner, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, why hello, Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
Thank you for the sub.
What's up? Also, Kirsten Tinkers has been to the Marquis de Sade's castle in France.
Wow, what was
That's
that?
wild. Do share any and all details of that creepy, creepy castle.
Yeah, it's interesting too because Camus goes through like a history of types of rebellion and tries to like point out where like tyrants rise because it goes from being like revolutionary or like about uplifting humans to control and the policing of bodies, and again the whole like rationalization of like, okay, what percent of the population can we murder?
Yeah. It's really what it always comes down to.
Right.
It's like, when is it okay for me to kill this guy?
And just like needing to be mindful of that. Whoa, what?
Yeah. Oh, dang. Christian Tinkers also did some coke outside that castle. That seems very fitting at the Marquis de Sade's castle.
Yeah.
Like, of all the castles.
Like, I get you.
Yeah. If I was able to, probably would also do the same.
Oh no. Of course, are talking about the delicious beverage.
Yeah, made by the giant American corporation.
That supports the bombing of Palestinian children. If I believe correctly, they're on the BDS list.
Yeah, they are. Is Pepsi on that list as well?
I don't drink cola enough to like take note, but let's talk to this weird funky dude on top. Actually, yeah, Zero Beat is that dude's name. He's a dark, shadowy, like a facsimile of Beat. There's a corporate character who's been making facsimile gang members, so it's interesting to see he's refined the guy on the box into his own shadow version. Also, the fact that he's called Zero Beat. I don't want to turn too much, but it's funny to think that the person who owns this particular robotic character owns Zero Beat. He has no beat. It's just a fun pun.
Hell yeah.
But in rebelling, in saying, you know, I deserve X, Y, and Z, it is also, in Camus' view, you're reaffirming there's something in you worth protecting, worth fighting for, worth putting that boundary up for. It's an affirmation of you know, your humanity. And if you're appealing to that reasonable we, it's like, no, yeah, like there's a collective human dignity that we should be fighting for in some sense.
Yeah. And saying that definitely reminds me of like Harlan County.
I don't want cops doing the move bombing on poor people just because they're scared to go into a house, you know? Like,
dude, how many kids died in the Uvalde shooting?
Right.
Like, without
oh
any cops.
Man. Evil train.
Listen up, liberals. My kids won't talk to me anymore and I miss them.
Yep. There's a
absolutely.
Whenever I see ads for like PragerU courses, it's like, yeah, I got a major and my kids don't talk to me. It's pretty great. Like, I have a master's and my children only call on the holidays.
It's perfect.
Oh, I'm doing, yeah. Oh no.
Exactly how I want it.
Crap. One of the only flaws of this game is sometimes it can be hard to pivot direction or fine tweak small movements.
I kind of waited for you.
Yeah, I was going to say they do make up for it by the game being pretty easy on the up and up.
That's all right. Oh, Josh Foreman, don't we all? Speaking of with all those liberals, it's been very fun talking to conservative family members and just being like Obama and Donald Trump are like having little giggles and having a great time while people don't talk to their family members.
I'm actually a little curious because I was watching a fun Death of Woke video by John the Duncan on YouTube. Shout out to John the Duncan. He does great work. But I haven't heard like any like, even so we're in Central Texas, there's Republicans out and about, like even in like a sociable moderate centricity sense. I haven't heard as much like jokes about woke or even just like the use of the word woke offline in the way I did maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel like it's dying down. Something earlier today I was talking with Michael about on stream is like the appeal of Jordan Peterson. Is he like really?
Is he even still around?
He's still doing stuff, but I feel like his I feel like his presence is diminished. I don't know. I think the second Trump victory, there's a lot of just like, okay, we don't need to like push so hard on the propaganda gas. Stop funding it or stop trying.
Yeah. It's very funny. Also, everyone who is shocked about the Project 2025 stuff happening is just like, well, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's a silly world, full of silly people making dumb choices for everybody else.
Yeah. But you go out in the world and you touch grass a little.
And you find your community, and you find people to help make every day not miserable.
Yeah, Free Comic Book Day happened last week. Lux and I got out to that. I just want to shout out the Vox Podcast, another friend of the show. Lux and I were on there talking Free Comic Book Day. If you need a podcast to listen to, Chris and Wayne, they're real knowledgeable on their pop culture. They're literal professors. It is their job to know these types of things. It's always fun to converse with them. Definitely give the Vox podcast a follow. I was also on Burnley's show today. Like, dang, we've been making the TechnoPoverty rounds. Yeah.
Nice. How's he doing?
I'm liking his new format. Like his streams are really good. He's getting the hang of like doing it on his own too in a really fun way. I enjoy being a guest and kind of backseating and having fun with Burns that way.
Hell yeah. We got some great people doing great stuff.
Yeah, we got Lux coming tomorrow, just to remind y'all. And on Sunday we watched Gangs of New York. That was great.
Oh man, it was so much fun. I haven't seen that movie in a while.
Yeah, I saw it when it first came out. I want to say I was in high school. Now 2002, maybe even earlier. But just how much detail is crammed into each frame of it was astounding.
The production value.
Yeah. I have stuck in my head there was a scene where 2 fire departments show up to put out a fire. And they end up just fighting each other and the building burns down.
Yeah, God, that happened a lot in the early 1900s, apparently.
And there are just so many actual bodies on that set and that fire, and just such a large collection of people in the dark. On film, just wow.
Right? Back when that was the thing. Ooh. Sorry, chat. I'm trying not to sneeze all over my microphone. And 3256, there's a website that shows the stats of how much they've achieved in Project 2025. Feel free to post on the Discord.
Yeah, alright, we stopped this train.
Oh, and of course there it is. A minute after I say it, or before I said it. 3256, you get it.
Did we do it? Did we save DJ Professor K? I do think the next movie on the Discord is going to be Sion's Tokyo Tribe from 2014. I'm thinking that's going to be another Sunday at 6 p.m. one for all those watching.
Yeah, the boss fight design of that one, Rash Wiki, completely agreed. Ugh, it's a fun set design piece.
Oh, crap.
People of the world. Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Oh, the freaks are in charge now.
Bringing you a special
DJ Donald Trump in the house.
God, this is so funny that how he just fits everything.
He just wants everything is what he wants. Like, he owns everything, but no, he needs the culture. He needs to be in your head. He needs the underground radio. There can't be any kind of counter culture in his eyes.
God, it's so boring. What a boring world.
I will show all of you the true meaning.
We have to look at his art, which is a giant tentacle penis with a weird piercing.
It's got a Prince Albert.
Yeah.
He's just like, yes. Stare at it.
Of this power of ultimate beauty is blah blah blah.
He doesn't have a name for it. He doesn't care. He just wants it, you know?
It's his AI art. Look at it.
Right. No, yeah.
Future of Tokyo and the entire world.
Arigato.
It's just an insane mishmash without actual sense.
Yeah.
To the Shibuya terminal. Hurry, hurry,
Ishogi.
Man, I gotta say the voice actor's great on that.
Yes, this is very postmodern. I find it interesting too because like it is like a mix of stuff, but like it's not like an internationalist thing because like the Gigis are a mix of cultures and stuff. They have rhythm. Goji does not. Who do I want to be?
Something something before something something complete.
I'm gonna play as Cube. She's my favorite.
I can see what. What up, Q? Weird laugh, but we'll take it.
She's the leader of Poison Jam. And it's interesting that, again, Poison Jam is the one who reveals the noise tanks are fake to you, even though they're the first villain in the game, because it shows there's kind of like a mutual respect for hey, we don't like these fake people on the street. All right, I can go to Shibuya, and I think that's the final challenge of the game. I kind of go to Rikaku Guy. Heights really... No, I explored most everything.
Damn. You think it's time to finally start the Shibuya terminal?
It might be time,
he was all up in the place with his art. It was terrible. I wouldn't even want to call it AI art. What his monstrosity. The music and the sound effects are just so good.
Yeah, which, you know what, we're gonna let people dance for a moment. We're gonna take a bit of an early break, and then we're gonna get to bashing up Mr. Goji. Let's find who to chill with. Or you know what, should we make a custom tag? No, there's no more custom tags, really.
Yeah. Love this dog.
Yeah.
Activate Prince Albert Tower.
Damn right, Jerry.
Yes, yes, Jerry. Dance party, everybody.
Get up.
We're just gonna keep this audio playing over the break.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Over the break, I've been playing the audio. All right, y'all. So Rikaku Goji has seized Shibuya Terminal. The interesting Shibuya Key, the central place. Shibuya Key is kind of the Japanese trends this game is cashing in on. In the 90s, Shibuya Terminal was the place where all the record stores and stuff were.
Oh, got you.
It was a big, melting pot scene. And so a big part of this game's influence is Shibuya Key, and a big part of Shibuya Key is this concept of remixing and kind of parodying, and that's why this is a mix of so many different cultures and stuff. But it does it in, again, a cool way, as opposed to Rikaku Goji's tower, which is a mess and ugly, and as you were saying, AI art. But yeah, so he's in Shibuya, which is the birth, the home of Shibuya Key. He's gone to the cultural center point, and he's doing his little cultural imperialism over it. But yeah, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. It is 8:25. We'll be back at let's take a 15. So we'll be back at 8:40.
Oh yeah.
Until then,
before we go, real quick, Josh Foreman. Speaking of giant PP-shaped architecture, please add Alter Echo PS2 to your backlog. Underrated gem I left off.
Josh, I believe, were you the one that left a comment? Was it you? Someone involved in the creation and development of that game early on the TechnoPoverty uploads for Maximo did leave a comment saying they worked on Alter Echo. And yeah, it is right up our alley as far as what it is. Yeah, thank you so much, Josh.
Nice.
You do so much cool art shit. I'm so happy to have found you through this.
Yeah, thank you.
The Final Fantasy stuff, just the stuff we talked about on the Discord. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Also, we love sharing people's art. A big thing of all of this is appreciation of art in literally every form.
Yeah, you've heard us talk before about we want everybody to have a community theater project they do. I mean, we help out with Fight Opera here in Austin, which go over to their channel, give them a follow. Fight Opera, all one word. Lux helps out on that as well. Just been hanging out with a lot of online friends lately. It may sound a bit parasocial, but this has really been a bright spot these past few months. So again, we'll be back at 8:40. Until then, stretch, refresh your water, smoke them if you got them. We're gonna beat the crap out of that Rikaku Goji fellow when we get back.
And dance. It's great for depression.